Let me tell you something right now. Success isn't just about money in your bank account or titles on your business card. Real success, the kind that wakes you up with peace in your heart and fire in your spirit, that kind of success starts deep within you. See, we're living in 2025, a world spinning faster than ever, full of distractions, noise, and endless comparison. But the people who rise above it all, they're not superheroes. They're not born lucky. They're just deeply focused, spiritually grounded, and unshakably consistent. If you want to win, you got to start on the inside. You got to align with purpose, walk with faith, and move with boldness. The habits of highly successful people aren't just hacks or routines. They're reflections of who they are when no one's watching. Because God doesn't bless laziness. He doesn't move mountains for the comfortable. He moves for the faithful, the disciplined, the committed. So stay with me, because by the time this message ends, you won't just know what successful people do, you'll feel it in your bones that it's time to become one of them. The first habit of highly successful people in 2025 is discipline over motivation. In a world obsessed with instant results and overnight success, these individuals have realized a powerful truth. Motivation fades, but discipline endures. While most people wait for the perfect mood, the right vibe, or the Monday to start, successful people lace up and show up, whether it's raining, whether they're tired, whether they feel inspired or not. They don't treat discipline like a punishment. They treat it like a promise, a commitment to their future. They don't ask, do I feel like it? They declare, I do it because I said I would. In 2025, life is faster, noisier, and more distracting than ever before, but discipline creates focus in the chaos. It is what allows these individuals to wake up at 5 a.m., hit the gym, build their businesses, serve their families, and still take time to pray. Because discipline is spiritual. It's obedience not just to a schedule, but to a calling. It's resisting the urge to scroll and choosing instead to study, to practice, to build. It's understanding that God gave you a vision, and it's your job to show up for it every single day. Discipline doesn't mean being perfect. It means staying committed even when you fall off. Highly successful people don't quit because they had a bad day. They reset and get back to it. They understand that every champion was once a beginner who refused to quit. Every legacy was built by daily effort. And most importantly, they understand that discipline in its purest form is a form of worship. It's how you honor your time, your energy, your potential, all of which are divine gifts. So if you're waiting for motivation to hit before you start moving, you're already behind. The future belongs to those who get up and go. Tired, scared, unsure, but still moving. Discipline is your edge, your weapon, your bridge between who you are and who you were born to be. The second habit of highly successful people in 2025 is purpose-driven time management. They don't just manage minutes, they master meaning. In a world where endless notifications, entertainment, and distractions beg for attention, these individuals treat their time like gold. Because here's the truth, your calendar reflects your character. You can tell what someone values not by what they say, but by how they spend their time. And the most successful people, they've learned to say no to the noise so they can say yes to what matters. They wake up with clarity. They don't let the day happen to them. They command it. Their mornings are sacred, often starting with gratitude, prayer, and planning. They set goals with intention, not just to achieve things, but to align with their higher calling. Every task has a reason. Every meeting has a purpose. Every moment is a seed planted toward legacy. And they're not afraid to cut out the unnecessary, the gossip, the distractions, the people who waste time but never pour into their growth. Successful people understand that time is not just money, time is life. Once it's gone, it never comes back. So they schedule their days not just for productivity, but for impact. They set boundaries and protect their peace. They block out time for deep work, for family, for learning, for God. Because balance isn't about doing everything, it's about doing the right things consistently. They also understand the spiritual weight of time. It's a divine currency. You're either investing it or wasting it. And one day we will all answer for how we used it. So if you want to elevate your life, start by auditing your time. Ask yourself, does my schedule reflect my purpose, or am I just staying busy and calling it progress? The most powerful shift you can make is to stop spending time and start investing it in your purpose, your growth, your calling. That's how successful people move. Not just with hustle, but with holy intention. The third habit of highly successful people in 2025 is radical ownership. They don't wait for someone else to fix things. They take full responsibility for their life, their growth, their outcomes. No blaming, no excuses. In a world where it's easy to point fingers at the economy, the system, your past, your parents, these people look in the mirror and say, if it's meant to be, that mindset right there, that's what separates average from extraordinary. Radical ownership means you stop outsourcing your power. You don't say, I failed because of them. You say, what can I learn from this? It's the mindset that turns pain into purpose. Instead of complaining, successful people are curious, why did this happen? What can I change? How do I rise from this? They take every setback as feedback and every loss as a lesson. They don't get stuck in victim mode because they know you can't be a victim and a victor at the same time. In 2025, where distractions are high and accountability is low, radical ownership is rare, and that's why it's powerful. When you own your choices, your time, your mindset, your reactions, you unlock freedom. You stop waiting for the world to give you permission. You stop waiting for things to get easier. You realize God gave you everything you need to overcome, but He won't force you to use it. He'll open doors, but it's up to you to walk through them. Successful people pray hard, but they also plan smart, act bold, and adapt quickly. They understand that faith without action is dead. They don't just hope for better, they build better, brick by brick with their choices. And when life hits hard, because it will, they don't fold. They pivot, they push, and they press forward because they've made a decision. No matter what, I don't quit on me. So if you're waiting for a sign to take control of your life, this is it. Own your story, own your goals, own your faith. That's where your power begins. The fourth habit of highly successful people in 2025 is intentional relationship building. They know success isn't a solo mission. It's built in connection, in community, in collaboration. They understand that who you surround yourself with will either lift your vision or limit your growth. So they're intentional about who they let speak into their life. They don't entertain drama. They don't waste time in circles where nothing grows. They seek out people who challenge them, stretch them, speak truth to them, and love them enough to hold them accountable. In 2025, where digital connections are easy but deep ones are rare, successful people are mastering the art of real relationships. They're not chasing followers, they're nurturing partnerships. They know that iron sharpens iron, that mentorship is more valuable than money, that the right conversation with the right person can change the course of your future. They don't just build networks, they build kingdom relationships that are rooted in purpose, not popularity. These people invest time into relationships that align with their calling. They seek wisdom, not validation. They connect with people who are further along the path, not to compete, but to learn. They don't hoard success either. They lift others as they climb. They know what Denzel would say, don't just aspire to make a living, aspire to make a difference. And sometimes that difference begins with encouraging someone else who's walking through what you've already overcome. But here's the powerful part. Intentional relationships aren't always convenient. They require honesty, they require vulnerability, they require boundaries. Successful people have learned to say no to toxic circles, even if it's family, because peace is more precious than approval. They're not afraid to walk alone for a season if it means protecting their assignment. And when they do find their tribe, they pour into it. They show up, they support, they serve. Because they know that the seeds you sow into others always return to you multiplied. Spiritually, they get it. Even Jesus had 12. Even He chose His inner circle carefully. He had the crowd, but He also had Peter, James, and John. People who could go deeper, climb higher, pray harder, and that's the model. You don't need everyone, you just need the right ones. People who see your calling even when you can't. People who remind you who you are when the world gets loud. people who push you toward God when life gets heavy. So in 2025, if you want to rise, take a look around you. Do your relationships reflect your destiny or distract you from it? Are you surrounded by people who celebrate your growth or criticize your hunger? The most successful people build with intention. They know that connection isn't just a strategy, it's a spiritual key. Choose your people wisely, because in the journey to success, your circle isn't just your support, it's part of your story. The fifth habit of highly successful people in 2025 is unshakable consistency in action. Let me tell you this straight. Talent is everywhere, dreams are everywhere, but consistency, that's rare. And that's what separates those who talk about it from those who be about it. The people making moves in 2025 aren't waiting on perfect timing, the right motivation, or someone to cheer them on. They've trained their mind and disciplined their body to show up every single day, whether they feel like it or not. Because here's the truth. Motivation may get you started, but only consistency will take you across the finish line. Highly successful people understand that emotions are temporary, but legacy is permanent. They don't let a bad day derail their whole vision. They build routines that support their goals, and they protect those routines like sacred ground. Whether it's waking up at 5 a.m. to pray, work out, read, or plan their day, they treat consistency like it's oxygen for their purpose. Now, I'm not saying they're perfect, no one is, but what they've mastered is the bounce back. They fall, sure, we all do, but they don't stay there. They don't drown in guilt, they reset and realign. They know that every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. And while the world might clap for overnight success, they're building something deeper, sustainable greatness, born from thousands of small, consistent steps. There's a spiritual side to this too. Consistency isn't just about discipline, it's about faithfulness. In Scripture, we don't see God calling people who were the most gifted. He called the most obedient, the ones who showed up. Noah built an ark for years without seeing rain. Daniel prayed 3 times a day, even when it could cost him his life. And Jesus, he stayed the course to the cross, consistent in love and truth and purpose. That's the motto. Successful people in 2025 have tapped into that same principle. They don't chase every trend. They're not distracted by noise. They're planted, rooted, grounded in their mission. They know the results are in the reps. You write the book 1 page at a time. You grow the business 1 client at a time. You build the body 1 workout at a time. They treat consistency like worship, because it is. It's honoring the gift God gave you by showing up to use it. It's telling your future, I believe in you enough to put in the work today. So ask yourself, are you waiting for motivation or are you moving with discipline? Because 2025 belongs to those who move, not when it's easy, not when it's fun, but every single day. And if you stay consistent long enough, success won't just find you, it'll follow you. The 6th habit of highly successful people in 2025 is embracing purposeful solitude. In a world that's louder than ever, notifications buzzing, reels scrolling, opinions flying, successful people are doing something radical. They're stepping back. They're disconnecting from the chaos so they can reconnect with clarity. Because here's the truth. When everyone's talking, it's hard to hear your own soul speak. See, solitude isn't loneliness. It's not running away, it's tuning in. The most powerful people of this generation have learned the value of silence. They make time every day to pause, to reflect, to sit with their thoughts, their prayers, their creator. In that stillness, they find direction. In that quiet space, they recharge. That's where vision is born. That's where alignment happens. That's where decisions get clearer and distractions lose their grip. Jesus himself modeled this. He didn't just preach to the crowds. He often withdrew to solitary places to pray. That wasn't weakness. That was wisdom. He knew that time with the Father was the source of strength. And the most successful people in 2025 are following that same rhythm. They guard their morning routines. They meditate, journal, breathe deeply. They understand that without stillness, life becomes noise, and noise kills purpose. When you spend time in purposeful solitude, you begin to lead your life instead of life leading you. You're not reacting anymore. You're responding with intention. You're choosing what matters over what's urgent. You're hearing divine whispers instead of worldly distractions. You're able to say no to what doesn't serve your purpose because you've already said yes to what does. This isn't just about mental clarity, it's spiritual maturity. Solitude is where you invite God into your plans. It's where you get honest about your struggles, your fears, your dreams. It's where healing begins. Breakthroughs are born in silence, not noise. The most successful people in 2025 don't just hustle, they align. And alignment only comes when you make room to listen. So make space, turn off the noise, lean into that sacred stillness. Because in that quiet place, your greatest growth begins. And the seventh habit of highly successful people in 2025 is taking full responsibility for their life. No blaming, no excuses, no pointing fingers. They've realized one powerful truth. You can't change what you don't take ownership of. They don't wait for circumstances to be perfect. They move with purpose, even in imperfection. See, life will throw storms at you. Delays, betrayals, setbacks. They happen to all of us. But successful people don't sit around asking, why me? They stand up and say, watch me. They know that power comes from ownership. If your finances are broken, own it. If your mindset is negative, own it. If your habits are hurting you, own it. Why? Because when you own it, you can change it. Denzel Washington once said, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. And he's right. It's easy to blame, easy to scroll, easy to wait for a miracle without doing your part. But the winners in 2025, they're done waiting. They take responsibility for their time, their energy, their relationships. They don't control the world, but they control how they show up in it. They say no when they need to. They forgive without waiting for an apology. They speak life even when they're surrounded by negativity. They work on their mindset every day. They don't see failure as the end. They see it as feedback because they know growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from accountability. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you're powerful. It means you've stopped giving away your authority to people and problems that don't define you. It means you've looked in the mirror and said, if it's gonna be, it starts with me. That's where freedom is. That's where breakthrough happens. And most importantly, taking responsibility is spiritual. God has given you free will, a voice, a mind, a purpose, but He won't force you to use it. He's waiting for you to rise, to choose, to move. Successful people know that prayer and action go hand in hand. They pray like it depends on God, and they work like it depends on them. If you want 2025 to be the year everything shifts, stop waiting, start owning. So here we are, we've walked through the habits of highly successful people, not just trends, not just hacks, but truths. Real habits rooted in discipline, vision, and faith. And if you've made it this far, something inside you is hungry. Hungry for more, hungry for meaning, hungry for change. That's not a coincidence. That's purpose knocking on your soul. That's your future self calling you to rise. And I want you to hear me loud and clear. You were never made to live an average life. You were never created just to survive. You were built to build. You were born to become something greater than your fears, stronger than your failures, and wiser than your past. You see, success in 2025 isn't about chasing money. It's not just about building businesses or growing followers. It's about building yourself. It's about the silent mornings when you choose discipline over comfort. It's about the moments no one sees, when you pray, when you struggle, when you keep going anyway. That's what builds greatness. That's what God honors. He's not looking for perfection, He's looking for persistence. Faith, courage, integrity, and He's watching to see what you do with what you've been given. You don't need the approval of the world. You need clarity from within. You need the fire of purpose to outshine the noise of doubt. You've got everything you need, the mind, the heart, the breath in your lungs. It's time to stop shrinking. It's time to stop scrolling. It's time to stand. Stand in your power, stand in your calling. Because when you say yes to your highest self, when you lean into these habits and own your life like never before, you don't just change your story, you change everyone around you. You become the proof that it's possible, the light in the dark, the hope in the chaos. And maybe, just maybe, someone out there watching you rise, watching you win your battles, will believe they can rise too. That's legacy. That's impact. That's success. So take this message and run with it. Write the book, build the dream, heal the wounds, speak the truth, trust the process, and never forget, if God is with you, if discipline walks beside you, if purpose burns within you, there's nothing that can stop you. Not in 2025, not ever. This is your moment. And your future is waiting